What happens in Vegas could spell trouble for the U.S. economy, the subject of chatter on social media for months now. Empty streets and casinos, one even saying Vegas is actually dead.
Is Las Vegas signaling America's next recession? Tables sit empty, hotel rooms remain unbooked, and conventions that once drew thousands are quietly disappearing. At first glance, it may seem like a temporary slowdown, but history tells a far more alarming story. Over the past 25 years, every major recession showed its earliest signs here.
Vegas has predicted every American recession with pinpoint accuracy over the past 25 years.
Long before Wall Street or Washington admitted the danger. Vegas depends on non-essential spending, the money people part with only when they feel financially secure. When confidence wavers, the Strip falters first, often months before the rest of the country feels the impact. In 2007, subtle shifts in declining hotel occupancy, thinner crowds, and halted construction projects foreshadowed the financial collapse. In 2020, the pandemic hit, and Vegas went silent before the global economy followed. Now, in 2025, the same trends are resurfacing. Tourist numbers are down sharply, conventions are shrinking, and gambling revenue growth has stalled. These signs are not random. They are a warning. The Strip is more than an entertainment hub. It is America's economic barometer, reflecting consumer confidence and spending habits. Stay with us as we uncover how Las Vegas has repeatedly predicted past recessions, why today's signals mirror history, and what this could mean for the nation's financial future. When Vegas trembles, the rest of the country often follows. Las Vegas, America's economic barometer. Las Vegas is more than a city of entertainment. It is a reflection of the nation's economic health. The city relies almost entirely on discretionary spending, the money people spend only when they feel financially secure. Luxury hotel rooms, gambling tables, and conventions are all choices made out of confidence, not necessity. When Americans hesitate to spend, Vegas feels the impact first. History has repeatedly confirmed this pattern. In the late 1980s, the savings and loan crisis triggered the city's first major modern recession. Hotel bookings fell, casino revenues declined, and construction projects stalled. To the casual observer, the Strip still seemed vibrant, but experts knew that if Vegas faltered, the rest of the country would soon follow. In 2007, a similar story unfolded. Weekday hotel occupancy dipped, conventions shrank, and gambling revenue growth slowed, subtle warnings that financial instability was on the horizon. In 2020, the pandemic hit, and the city emptied almost overnight. Thousands of service workers lost their jobs, and the Strip's silence reflected a broader economic collapse. Now, in 2025, the same quiet signals are appearing again. Tourist numbers are dropping, conventions are smaller than expected, and gambling revenues have stalled. Vegas has always thrived on optimism, but when confidence erodes, its impact is impossible to hide. Understanding these early warnings is crucial, because when Las Vegas falters, the consequences rarely stay confined to the Strip, they ripple across the nation. Not all economic warnings arrive with loud headlines. In Las Vegas, the most important signals are often subtle. A hotel floor left empty, a convention downsized without announcement, or a gaming table with far fewer players than usual. These quiet tremors can reveal more about the health of the economy than flashy statistics ever could. The Strip operates on confidence. When visitors hesitate, the ripple spreads quickly from casino staff to restaurants, transportation services, and supply chains that rely on a steady flow of tourists. Before the 2007 financial collapse, these understated shifts were already happening. Luxury condo sales slowed, construction projects paused, and revenue growth stalled in sectors that normally flourished, regardless of outside pressures. Outsiders saw the Strip glowing as usual, but insiders understood that these small signals were the first signs of a larger storm. In 2025, similar patterns are emerging. Hotel occupancy on weekdays is declining. Conventions are being reduced in scale, and gambling revenues show little growth despite rising prices. The city hums with activity, but the rhythm is off. The energy is present, yet strained, and those who pay attention can feel the tension beneath the surface. Las Vegas is built on optimism, but it cannot hide uncertainty for long. Every empty room, every canceled event, and every halted project signals waning confidence. These quiet alarms are not just about a single city. They are the early tremors that often foreshadow economic challenges across the nation. Recognizing them now is essential, because when Vegas falters, the rest of America rarely remains untouched. The cracks beneath the surface. The Strip can look vibrant while the foundation beneath is already weakening. In Las Vegas, appearances are deceiving. A glowing sign or a bustling lobby doesn't always reflect the reality of the economy. Beneath the surface, subtle indicators begin to form. Hotel occupancy slips slightly, convention bookings decline, and gambling revenue growth falters. These are the cracks that often go unnoticed until they widen into something more dangerous. History has shown that small fissures in Vegas predict national turmoil. In 2007, the city's outward prosperity masked a growing instability. Cranes froze mid-construction, luxury apartments went unsold, and revenue increases that once seemed guaranteed began to stall. By the time the broader economy reacted, the signs had already been clear for months to those who watched closely. Now in 2025, similar patterns are emerging. Weekday hotels are not filling as expected, conventions are shrinking, and casino profits are barely keeping pace with rising costs. Tourists arrive, but their spending is cautious. The energy is present but muted, hinting at hesitation and uncertainty. The lesson is consistent. Vegas doesn't lie about confidence. When the city hesitates to spend, it signals a wider problem. The economy may appear stable elsewhere, but the Strip acts as a mirror. Every canceled booking, every empty table, every slowed project is an early warning for the country at large. Ignoring these subtle cracks can lead to a cascade of consequences that reach far beyond Nevada's borders. Las Vegas has a history of telling the story before anyone else listens. In the late 1980s, during the savings and loan crisis, subtle signals appeared. Hotel rooms that once filled quickly began to remain empty, convention traffic slowed, and casino revenue growth softened. To the casual visitor, it seemed like minor fluctuations, but for those paying attention, it was an early warning of a wider economic storm. In 2007, the same script repeated itself. Construction cranes froze mid-air, luxury condos went unsold, and casino profits began to decline, patterns that quietly indicated instability before the financial collapse became public knowledge. Vegas acts as an early gauge because the city thrives entirely on discretionary spending. When confidence falters, spending slows, and the consequences ripple quickly through the local economy. In 2025, the Strip is echoing the same signals. Tourist arrivals are down, weekday hotel occupancy has dropped, and conventions are canceling or shrinking at alarming rates. Even gambling revenue, the lifeblood of the city, has stagnated despite rising prices. The signs are subtle but unmistakable. Confidence is faltering. Understanding the lessons from previous crises is essential. Vegas doesn't merely react to economic downturns, it often predicts them. Its struggles are rarely isolated. When the city falters, the ripple effects are felt across the suburbs, the service industry, and eventually the national economy. Ignoring these signals could leave the country unprepared for the storm looming just beyond the Strip. The workforce feels the strain. The first victims of an economic downturn are rarely the banks or investors. It's the people who keep the city running. In Las Vegas, that means the dealers, servers, housekeepers, performers, and countless other service workers whose livelihoods depend on steady tourist spending. When visitor numbers drop, they are the first to feel the impact, and their struggles often foreshadow broader economic distress. During the 2007 recession, thousands of casino employees were laid off, even as the lights of the Strip continued to glow. Hotels emptied slowly, and restaurants reduced hours. To tourists, everything seemed normal, but behind the scenes, the machinery of the city was faltering. Similarly, in 2020, the pandemic wiped out jobs almost overnight. Casinos closed, shows were canceled, and unemployment soared to historic levels in Nevada. The human cost was immediate and unmistakable. Now, in 2025, the signs are resurfacing. Unemployment in southern Nevada is climbing, hotels are scaling back staff, and restaurants and entertainment venues are adjusting schedules to cope with fewer visitors. These ripple effects are not isolated. They spread through the suburbs, affect schools, and strain local businesses. Vegas has always been a microcosm of the national economy. When its workforce suffers, the rest of the country rarely remains untouched. Watching how the city responds to declining consumer confidence can provide early insights into how broader economic forces may soon affect millions across the United States. Las Vegas has always been a city of high-stakes bets, and nowhere is that more evident than in its real estate market. Homes and luxury condos rise like towers of ambition, often fueled by speculation rather than genuine demand. When confidence falters, these structures, both literal and economic, begin to wobble. In 2007, the housing market's collapse was first visible here. Buyers who had overextended themselves on mortgages could not keep up with payments. Developers halted construction, leaving skeletal towers scattered across the skyline. Foreclosures mounted, and neighborhoods that once thrived became eerily quiet. For those watching closely, the warning signs were impossible to ignore. Fast forward to 2025, and similar pressures are appearing. Median home prices have soared beyond the reach of the average worker, while interest rates and living costs continue to climb. Thousands of homeowners are now facing default notices, and construction on high-profile projects has been paused indefinitely. Even billionaire-backed developments are put on hold, leaving unfinished steel frames standing as silent reminders of overreach and optimism gone too far. Vegas is more than a local economy. It reflects broader national trends. When housing falters here, the ripple effect reaches construction suppliers, financial institutions, and buyers across the country. The city's real estate struggles are not isolated. They signal a potential cascade that could strain markets far beyond Nevada's borders. Understanding this pattern is critical. Vegas has predicted housing crises before, and today's indicators echo that same cautionary tale. The Strip may shine, but beneath it, the foundation is showing cracks once again. Las Vegas thrives on leisure and luxury, but it depends entirely on people feeling confident enough to spend. When consumer confidence dips, the first signs appear in the city's daily rhythm. Hotel check-ins decrease, restaurant reservations vanish, and convention floors echo with emptiness. These are not minor fluctuations. They are early signals of a wider economic slowdown. In 2007, subtle declines in visitor spending were the first indicators of the coming recession. Gaming revenues, once growing steadily, began to stall. Hotels and resorts noticed fewer guests during weekdays, and conventions, which bring billions into the city, started to cancel or downsize. The city's vibrancy masked a growing fragility, but those paying attention could see the warning signs. Today, in 2025, a similar pattern is emerging. Tourist numbers are down sharply, conventions have shrunk significantly, and gambling revenue has barely increased despite rising costs. Even minor dips in spending are magnified because Vegas's economy depends so heavily on discretionary income. The human impact is immediate. Service workers, restaurant staff, and performers feel the strain first, and the effects quickly ripple through the local economy. Vegas acts as a barometer for the nation because it relies almost entirely on confidence-driven spending. When people hesitate to spend here, it often precedes broader economic contractions elsewhere. Observing the slowing rhythm of the Strip today offers insight into potential national turbulence tomorrow. Las Vegas may seem like an isolated world of neon and entertainment, but what happens here rarely stays contained. When the city falters, its struggles extend far beyond the Strip. Service workers' layoffs affect local businesses, restaurants, and schools. Reduced tourist spending impacts suppliers, transportation services, and even distant industries connected to conferences and events. The city's troubles echo nationally. In 2007, the ripple began with small disruptions. Hotels reduced staff, casinos scaled back operations, and entertainment venues saw lower attendance. These shifts quickly spread, affecting suppliers, contractors, and the broader service industry. By the time Wall Street acknowledged the downturn, millions across the country were already feeling its effects. Fast forward to 2025, and the ripple is visible again. Unemployment is rising, layoffs are spreading across hotels and restaurants, and service workers are struggling to maintain their livelihoods. As confidence dips, spending decreases further, deepening the cycle. Every empty convention hall and half-filled casino table is not just a local loss, it is a signal of national economic fragility. Las Vegas operates as a warning system. Its dependence on discretionary spending makes it highly sensitive to fear and uncertainty. When visitors hold back, the impact is immediate and far-reaching. Watching the city's struggles provides a glimpse of the challenges that could soon confront the broader economy. The ripple effect from Vegas is more than a local concern. It is an early glimpse of what may be coming nationwide. Every empty hotel room and canceled convention is more than a statistic, it is a warning flashing in plain sight. Las Vegas has a history of showing cracks before the rest of the nation feels the tremors. In 2007, these subtle signals were ignored by many until the financial collapse struck. In 2020, the city went silent almost overnight, revealing the fragility of an economy built entirely on consumer confidence. In 2025, the warning signs are intensifying. Weekday hotel occupancy has fallen sharply, tourist numbers have dropped dramatically, and conventions, the lifeblood of midweek Vegas, are being canceled or scaled down. Even the city's gambling revenue, historically the most resilient sector, is barely growing. These are not isolated figures. They are interconnected symptoms of waning confidence. The human impact mirrors the economic tremors. Casino workers, servers, performers, and hotel staff are experiencing reduced hours or layoffs. Restaurants are shortening schedules, entertainment venues are cutting shows, and even rideshare drivers are waiting longer between fares. The city's workforce, the backbone of its economy, is showing the strain before broader national effects appear. Vegas's dependence on discretionary spending makes it an unparalleled barometer. When visitors hesitate, the ripple effect spreads through every layer of the local economy and eventually across the nation. The warnings are clear, and history suggests that ignoring them can be costly. As the tremors grow stronger, the Strip is signaling that the next economic storm may be approaching faster than most expect. Las Vegas is the first domino in a chain that can topple the nation's economy. When the Strip falters, the effects cascade through countless sectors, from service workers and suppliers to local businesses and, eventually, financial markets. Every empty room, every canceled event, every slowed project is a signal that confidence is eroding. In 2007, the warning began quietly. Hotel floors emptied, conventions shrank, and casino revenue growth stalled. Outsiders saw only the shining lights and bustling streets, but the underlying economy was weakening. By the time the national recession became undeniable, Vegas had already felt months of economic strain. In 2020, the dominoes fell faster. The pandemic shut down the city almost completely, and unemployment surged to historic levels, revealing how fragile a confidence-driven economy can be. Now, in 2025, the first dominoes are tipping again. Unemployment is rising, housing stress is increasing, and consumer spending is slowing. Construction projects remain unfinished, Foreclosures are climbing, and luxury developments have been paused. These are the first waves of an economic domino effect, hinting at what could come next across the United States. Las Vegas has always served as a mirror of the nation's financial health. The city's struggles are rarely contained. Watching the Strip today provides critical insight. When Vegas stumbles, the broader economy often follows. Ignoring the early warning signs is not an option. The pattern has repeated itself too many times to be coincidence. The Strip's final warning. Las Vegas is still glowing, the neon lights still burn, and the fountains rise and fall as usual. But beneath the shimmer, the cracks are impossible to ignore. Empty hotel floors, canceled conventions, stalled construction projects, and layoffs across the service industry all tell a story that the casual observer might miss. The Strip is more than entertainment. It is a reflection of national confidence. History has proven that when Vegas falters, the rest of the country follows. The patterns of 2007 and 2020 are repeating quietly in 2025. Tourist numbers are down, weekday occupancy is weak, gambling revenue is stagnant, and unemployment is creeping higher. Each signal alone might seem minor, but together they form a mosaic of impending economic strain. The lesson is clear. Confidence drives the economy, and when it wavers, Vegas feels it first. Its struggles ripple outward, impacting not only local workers and businesses, but also industries and markets across the United States. The warning signs are flashing, and the question is no longer if the storm will hit, but when. The Strip may still dazzle, but those who understand its rhythms know that appearances can deceive. What happens here is rarely confined to Nevada. The next recession could already be taking shape, and Las Vegas is the first to sound the alarm. If you want to stay ahead of the story the mainstream ignores, pay attention to the signals, and stay informed. Subscribe for more insights, because when Vegas trembles, America is rarely far behind.